me a mic check, Vi.
1, 2, 1, 2. Took my shoe.
All right, yeah, keep everything where it is. You're good to go. All right. I'm at the vibe. I know
Stir it up, y'all.
Rise up.
all right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It is another week. Welcome to the G Podcast, episode 149. Yes, and yes. Welcome, y'all. I'm your host, Tommy B. Each week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea from the one and only Tanya B. We will get to her in just a sec. She is the host, of course, of the Bird Wire, Fridays and Saturday nights, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. But I got to say what's up. And, before we even get started, congrats to the Falcons. Even though they lost, there's a reason why I'm saying that. But, it is what it is. I have, low expectations this season anyway. So, it is what it is. But there's some things we want to get into. I'm going to get into that with you, Vi. But first, let's say what's up. She is, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different this week because she has not had the opportunity to do this in a while.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
What's cooking, Tanya B?
Shouldn't have showed me all that food, Tanya B. What you cooking?
I got to get, okay. Last night, I made lobster bisque and I made a beautiful beet and goat cheese salad. I put some tomato on there, but the thing about it that really made it extra, listen up, Howard, was I took the goat cheese, cut it up into squares, and I crispy fried it. So it looks like it's croutons, but it was actually goat cheese with a little crunch on the outside with panko. Hallelujah. And then for those of you who actually do cook corn, like that little corn kid that likes Cohen, one of the secrets, listen up, Howard, is that when you boil your corn, you boil it in milk and put a stick of butter in there. I do half unsalted, half salted. It makes all the difference when you take it out. It's tender. You don't need to put anything on it. It's just, you just eat it right off. And then today, as we speak right now, I have 6 pounds. I said 6 pounds of oxtails right now that are simmering in the gravy. And the key to the whole thing is you do the marinade and then you roll them in flour and then you put them in your pan with some peanut oil because peanut oil does not burn. Now I dice up a little bit of onion and lay the onions down, put the oxtails on top, let them get nice and brown. Then you make that transfer. You take those drippings, take some flour and a whisk. I made my gravy, no lumps, thank you very much. And now they are simmering for the next 3 to 4 hours until the Chuck Brown Band and Dougie Fresh come on stage in the ATL. Hour. So that's what, I'm going to do my greens too with my smoked turkey parts and some of my Jack Daniel's candied yam. So that'll be dinner for tonight and tomorrow for Monday Night Football. And that's what I'm cooking.
Good stuff. Go ahead, Tanya B.
That's what I'm cooking.
I'm going to give it up to you one more time. Yes. Tanya B is in the building. Don't forget the Bird Wire, Friday and Saturday night, 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. and Saturdays at noon, like an encore presentation. But y'all, keep doing what you're doing. And we shouted you out. We filled all the gaps last week about your father. Here's what I want you to do at the end before we leave the podcast. Throw out your thank yous. To some of the folks before we wrap up the podcast a little bit later. Cool.
In St. Louis, yes, will do.
Very
yes,
cool.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And my brother from another mother, the country commentator, is in the building. Y'all give it up for the one and only Bob. Yes.
Go dogs, go dogs.
Yeah, I know you got happy with the Bulldogs. They handled Auburn. Alabama barely got by. The Aggies, Texas A&M. And
Aggies seem to have their number.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was going to get into this because we got a lot of stuff to go over So I'm gonna jump into news early so we can get to the tea and talk about the Kanye West thing and a couple of other things as well. But I do want to ask you, the Falcons, man, and I had a chance to talk to Coach Art. As a matter of fact, I got to get Coach Art in here in a couple of weeks. Bottom line is the Brady call, the quarterback, the roughing. Now, before that, you didn't have the Brady, not only the Brady situation to call where they call roughing, but also the holding penalty, bogus. And, you know, a lot of folks are questioning definitely the quarterback, the roughing call. And a lot of folks are just questioning the referees and the officiating overall. What are your thoughts, man?
Bogus. This ain't 7-on-7. This tackle football.
Yeah.
I see if he had picked him up and slammed him. He just threw him on the ground.
Yeah. He didn't even
one
throw
motion. In one motion.
Yeah.
And Bogus and Brady got the nerve to get up and raise their hand to my, you ain't gonna call that?
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't have to be a black man. Woo.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing that troubled me, Vi. Even it was a situation where he was rolling, turning over. So if you got a quarterback on top of you as a defender who has not touched the ground, he's still eligible to throw the ball. He's not down. So basically, Jared had to turn to make sure he was on the ground. The other thing that I had a problem with was when Brady, when Jared was getting up, Brady kicked his leg, tried to kick him between the legs. He went for the nuts. I mean, plain and simple, he went for him. And you could see that. So initially.
So did Giselle. I'm sorry.
No. She's going for him a little bit later on. She's going to get him. She's going to get his.
That's
but my point is, when it comes down to the offensive player, I thought they were going to call that on Brady because I saw Brady's leg kick up, you know, and it was just a bad call.
Anything on Brady.
But see, here's the thing, Vi, and we're gonna get into news with Syracuse Mike. If you go to Twitter is lighting this thing up. Shannon Sharp has made comments. I mean,
it's a Brady call because Tua got tackled much harder than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they didn't call no personal foul.
Yeah.
It's a Brady call.
But my point is, all the credible sources within the NFL, or at least ex-NFL players, all the commentators are really calling out these refs. So it's going to be interesting to see. And you're right. I mean, you had a majority black referee staff, which I'm not saying, you know, those guys were out to, you know, in Tampa Bay out to get the Falcons, but they made some questionable calls toward the end. Now, let me say this. On the other hand, you know, the Falcons played like crap in the first half. And I question, I question Mariota in terms of his quarterback position currently. But, you know, we'll get into that. You know, I want to bring Coach Art in and just kind of look at the rest of the season. But I'm cool. You know, Vi, I always say I am cool with the Bryce Young sweepstakes. I'm good. You know what I'm talking about. I'm cool with the Bryce Young sweepstakes. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'd rather have have the Ohio State quarterback.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
I forgot, but he's bigger, tall.
Yeah, I'll get his name. He's definitely the QB that folks are looking at because people are actually putting him as the first pick of the draft.
That's what I would take. Bryce Young too small, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I just wanted to get that out there, and I know if you're, you know, I'm watching right now as we tape the podcast. I've got, you know, the Cowboys and the Rams. I'm watching that. That's going to be an interesting game. A lot of NFL stuff going on. It looks to be. I mean, it's a good season, man. But these refs got to get it together, y'all. I'm just here, not just because of our situation here, but there's some, you know, some inconsistencies around the league that they really need to talk about. You know, especially, you know, Tanya B. You know how Brady play. You know how that goes.
I think they did, but I only think they're doing with the NBA, with the NFL. The NFL hired telling them to do. Protect them quarterback. Protect the star quarterback at all.
But see, here's my thing with Brady. You know what, Brady? If you didn't want to take the punishment of being a quarterback in a league that's sped up, that's faster than you are currently, then you shouldn't have taken this additional year. Giselle told you. That's why Giselle is lawyering up, because she told your ass to not come back. And he came back anyway. So whatever happens this year is on you. You know what I'm saying? Don't call out the players for playing at their speed. Your game is slowed down, not theirs.
Brady's always had a slow down game. He can't take hits.
Dude,
They always say,
come on. Brady is much slower than he was.
They say if you get in Brady's face,
Yeah.
he won't make the pass.
I'm just saying Brady's a lot slower than he was 4 years ago.
He's 47 years old.
That's my point. And Giselle, you know what? Giselle said the same thing. That's why she lawyering up. Anyway, had to get that off my chest. Thank you, Tanya B. Appreciate you. All right, thank you, Vi. Appreciate you. Let's go on and do this with Syracuse Mike. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
In her first day hearing arguments, the first black female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, asked a number of questions during arguments. Her first case was an environmental case as the new 9-month term is underway. The court has agreed to hear 9 cases this term, including affirmative action and LGBTQ equality. According to a story from the Daily Beast website, the Republican candidate for the Senate, Herschel Walker, paid for an abortion for his girlfriend in 2009. Walker has been outspoken on the issue of abortion, saying it's a woman killing her baby, and has even publicly supported the recent Supreme Court ruling stripping a woman's constitutional right to access abortion services. In a statement, Walker said he will file a lawsuit against the Daily Beast, adding that the report is a flat-out lie. On top of this stunning report is Walker's son's decision to blast his father on Twitter.
We were told at the beginning of this he was going to get ahead of his past, hold himself accountable, all of these different things, and that would have been fine. Go ahead. He didn't do any of that. Everything's been a lie. Everything's been downplayed. Everything's been cutting corners.
That's Christian Walker, who criticized his father in several tweets late Monday, saying the family asked him not to run for office. Elon Musk has filed to go ahead with his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter after months of legal drama. It's a major about-face. Twitter had sued Musk to get the deal done when he walked away from it. Lawyers for Musk confirmed in a court filing Tuesday that the billionaire will move forward with the deal. President Biden was in Florida Wednesday to see up close the destruction from Hurricane Ian. He also met with Governor Ron DeSantis. The two rivals put their differences aside to focus on helping the residents in the state. Biden announced that he is expanding federal aid to Florida. FEMA is also there.
We have over 4,000 federal personnel on the ground as I speak. The Army Corps of Engineers providing emergency power to hospitals across the state, nursing homes, water treatment plants to make sure these facilities are able to continue to operate.
If you would like to help those impacted by the hurricane, please log on to redcross.org or volunteerflorida.org. You may recall that Dante Wright, a 20-year-old black man, was fatally shot by police officer Kim Potter during a traffic stop in 2021. Now the mother of Wright's son, China Whitaker, has filed a civil lawsuit against Wright's parents and attorney Ben Crump, saying she hasn't received her portion of the money promised from a GoFundMe account. AURN's Clay Kane adds,
Whitaker claims that Crump's law firm managed the crowdfunding campaign on behalf of Wright's family. She alleges that they have, quote, all turned their backs, unquote, on Dante Wright Jr. Crump denies any wrongdoing. This is Clay Kane for AURN News.
According to the Crump law firm, they never handled or controlled the money from the GoFundMe account.
Wow.
The Daily Beast website is reporting that the woman who said Herschel Walker paid for her 2009 abortion is also the mother of one of his 4 children. Walker made a campaign stop in Wadley, Georgia Thursday and deflected questions about the allegations. This after his prepared remarks when he told reporters again that the allegation that he paid for an abortion is not true.
This here, the abortion thing is false. It's a lie.
Walker also did not answer questions about the woman who he indicated earlier he did not know. He blamed Democrats for using this to destroy his campaign.
I'm not deterred. I'm not scared. And I'm not going to back down. The stakes are way, way too high.
President Biden has announced a pardon of all prior simple possession of marijuana federal offenses. Criminal justice advocates have been pushing for this for years. Mr. Biden said,
There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them.
the president wants state governors to do the same. President Biden says the risk of nuclear Armageddon is at the highest level since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. The president made the comment during a fundraiser Thursday. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been threatening to deploy nuclear weapons to stop Ukraine's progress in the war he started. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says the U.S. has been clear to Russia that there would be catastrophic consequences for using a nuclear weapon in Ukraine.
You know, Tanya B., you remember that song, Ronnie Talked to Russia?
Before it's too late.
Before they blow up the world. You know, that's how relevant, I mean, how appropriate. I mean, Prince was ahead of his time.
Oh, all day. All day.
All you got to do is change the names. Biden talked to Russia before it's too late. I am here to tell you, dog, get out there and start talking to Putin, because that dude is
he's dying. They say he's dying anyway.
You know,
right.
Here's the interesting thing about Putin. You know, you see pictures of him, but you don't see him. And I believe that he probably is real sick. And if he is not able to give direction to his, I guess, left or right hand person, they are speaking for him. But think about the last time you actually saw live footage of Vladimir Putin since it was revealed that he was suffering from a terminal illness.
I agree. With you.
Look, he could be in a coma, like the Queen has been for more time than they wanted to admit, and he might be incoherent right now.
Yeah, so true. And Tanya B. and Vi, y'all remember Tom Joyner's show, the soap opera "It's Your World"? Remember that?
It's your world. She's your queen. Sorry.
Whenever I hear all this Herschel Walker stuff, it's like, you remember how Tom used to say, "Well,
yes,
damn, when's it gonna stop?" But Vi and I said this. You were saying, because you send the information, you'll always tweet us the next story. And my attitude in Georgia with these Republicans, they don't care if Herschel impregnated squirrels. They don't care. They just want the seat. They don't care what comes out right now. And you know, Roland Martin said it best. He was on the Tiffany Cross show. He said, Democrats need to worry about getting people out to vote.
That's the main thing.
They're not going to deter people from voting for Herschel Walker. All this information, and that's sad, but it's true.
You know what's even worse than that? If you get to the point between Warnock and Hershant, not Herschel, Hershant, and even with Kemp and Stacey Abrams, if they have to do a runoff, you know, there's been statistics from years and years that when people have to come back to a runoff election, they don't come out the way that they did in the initial election, and that's something else to be concerned about. You may have to mobilize people not once but twice.
Yeah, so true. The other thing is, one of the other things I definitely want to talk about, and we can't go into detail because we don't know all the details yet, but this civil suit that Dante Wright's baby mama is actually bringing against the city and Crump. Now, Crump is saying that they had nothing to do with the GoFundMe, but you have to ask right now, where's the money?
Where's all of it? Yeah, GoFundMe or not. And also, I understand it's not. And if she's doing this and being authentic about it, it's not so much for her, but it's for
the
you know, the care of his son, because he was an infant. You know, that child's you know.
Where is the money?
Where's the money?
Somebody got it.
Don't you know what I think? I'm not. Damn it.
But of course, I mean, we'll wait to see how this turns out. But the civil suit is actually against the parents and Crump, so we'll see how that goes. The other thing is, and I'm going to make sure I post the information I'll make sure I post this on the podcast note. Don't say nothing about it. But Biden.
Well, I will. She hadn't been living in sin and been an unwed mother and been married to that boy. The parents would not have a dog in this fight because everything legally would have gone directly to her and that child. So all y'all out there Tootsie Roll and having all these babies by all these different men, take notes. Okay, carry on. Carry on.
Crump don't need it. Crump getting his. He don't need it.
Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave it at that.
Hey, I'm with you, T. High five.
I'm going to leave it at that. The other thing is, go on. May I go? Come on. What's the button? Here we go. Mute. But here's the deal. The other thing that's huge is and this is the name of the podcast, episode 149, is going to be Pardoning Mary Jane. And for y'all who was out there, you know, as the what do you call it, the supply man, y'all not gonna get pardoned. If you were out there selling it, and distributing it. Don't be applauding and jumping up and down. This is really for the people with small amounts, and it can't be tied.
That got pulled over.
Right. It can't be part of a felony or any kind of other crime that they discovered you were holding. So my point is, go ahead, Vi.
So Ray the crime lord, he gonna get free?
No.
Ray
Peanut
the kingpin.
Rachel Edmonds ain't getting out of jail. Freeway Ricky Ross ain't getting out of jail. No.
My cousin, my cousin had the Rolls Royce. He ain't gonna get out. What's wrong with that?
That's it, bro.
Peanut and them ain't getting out. Peanut on them ain't.
I said you should free all of them because it's legal now. It's legal to sell it.
Get so judgy. Why the judginess this week? What is going on? Damn, y'all are judgy. But anyway, I'm gonna make sure I post the information because some of y'all might be out here like, damn, they letting all the weed people go. No. You better read. You better go read.
That's the thing. It's like that, and all the student loan people are not getting off either. So there's certain student loans that are not going to be forgiven. So y'all need to pick up that kryptonite called the book and read.
Read that fine print.
Well, I'll pay it all mine, so hey, whatever.
Yeah, same here. And one last thing, we'll take a break and we'll go into tea. But I have to say, and we'll see how this turns out. The Brittany Griner appeal is coming up on October 25th, and we'll see how this goes. You know what's nasty that I hate about this, and you look at Phoenix. First of all, Sarver, who owned the team, is going to get suspended. Never said anything in support of Griner. The coach came out and said some just ignorant, salty stuff about Griner. So she's not even getting support from her home team. Maybe the players.
About the pro coach or the college coach?
No, the college. I'm sorry. I think it was the college coach. Yeah, the college coach. So my whole point is her support system is really coming down to her mom, of course her family, and her wife. And her wife.
The WNBA and the NBA players.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. October 25th is the appeal hearing, and hopefully that turns out okay and turns out in her favor. We'll see. Elon Musk has Twitter back now, or is actually going to get Twitter back. And I've seen, Ye has been suspended because of some anti-Semitic stuff, but Ye is actually back, but he's been suspended, or his tweet had been taken off, this anti-Semitic tweet. And there's word that Trump might be coming back on Twitter as well.
Yeah. But
I'm be bringing him back.
But wait a minute. I also saw earlier today that I guess it's the board of directors or whoever might begin to vote on this. That there's a little dissension, and that they see that there are a large faction of those decision makers that kind of see Musk as toxic, and they don't want Trump back on Twitter. So I heard they may start to kick some sand up about this. So I don't know if it's going to be.
Yeah, we'll see how that Jay-Z. How does that Jay-Z song go? I got 44. I got
99 problems, but Elon ain't
44
one.
billion.
Yeah,
and the board ain't one.
Right. But the other thing is that money also talks. So these folks may say, I'm just going to cash out and be done with it. But I understand. I thought Kanye was also had some content taken down off Instagram. It's like this has been the week that it's like we don't talk about we don't want to talk about Kanye, but we're talking about him. And it seems like every day he comes back with something that's more ridiculous and more stupid. But we'll get to that later on. Carry on.
Kind of like we don't talk about Bruno.
We as a people cancel Kanye, cancel him.
Well, I want to get to that at the end of the podcast. That's one thing I want to talk about. Just not necessarily any kind of boycott or demand. Just a question. And that's really what I want to come down to when we get to. So no. I know what you're saying, but that's something that we have to ask our community, especially as a Black podcast, and we target Black people. I got to ask a question. We all really have to ask the question. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with T right after this. All right, y'all. Hey, it's Tommy B, host of This Is the G podcast. To keep our podcast real and unfiltered, we accept limited sponsorship dollars. Instead, we depend on you, our listeners. Now you can support us and look good buying our swag. Our merchandise store is open for fall 2022. You'll find coffee mugs, shirts, hoodies, and there's more to come. Look for the link in our podcast notes of each show, or go to our page at castropolis.net/This Is the G podcast. That's CASTROPOLIS.net/This Is the G podcast. Be a G. Support the podcast, y'all. News, politics, pop culture, and that piping hot tea from the one and only Tanya B. This is the G podcast.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all.
Yes.
Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Y'all know what time it is. Tanya B, let's get to it.
Yeah,
Got a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I've been gone for a minute. Now I'm back with the jump off. But I just want to remind people, you played the promo about the swag. People, go and get your swag now while the prices are still on sale, because unlike Amazon Prime or Black Friday, prices will be going up. So please go get your G swag and your mugs and your hoodies and your t-shirts now, because we is having a sale, not a sale, a sale.
And unlike some folks, it ain't $400 for shoes. $400.
Okay, for anything. Okay, well, I'm first going to start off with a Nia Long update. Yes, I know I wasn't here last week, but I can pick up and keep going. Now, one thing I don't quite understand is why Nia Long's first baby daddy is chiming in. I don't know who asked him anything, but he's saying Udoka's a stand-up guy who deserves another chance. It's like, dude, go sit down. Nobody asked you anything. You just want to be all up in the video. I mean, he was like some...
He's trying to get Celtics tickets.
Well, no, as they said, that's what people were saying. He was saying that so he can get his NBA tickets, but guess what? No more. And the other thing is, Udoka, I'm hearing that they actually may let him keyword, coach somewhere else, but maybe college. It might be the Charlotte Bobcats even still playing. Or like Compton High School or some little baby college. Can you believe that? Yeah, but
so
let me say this:
talking about possibly development league.
It's not going to be, it's not going to be Boston. It may not be, in like the A list of the NBA teams. But the thing is, but here's the gag about this whole thing. There's still more to this story. And just when you think, the news cycle is over, here comes something else. But the folks in Boston are being very tight-lipped and they're hiding something. And here's what I think it is. Okay, number one, let me just say this. You know how this woman that Udoka was messing with, she made the arrangements for Nia Long and her son to move to Boston. Nia wasn't there 2 weeks. She packed up, pulled her son out of school, and she back in LA and going on about her business. But here's a gag that I have come to tell you about right now. And I don't have to say allegedly, but one time, because I'm not the first person to say this, so we ain't getting sued. When I tell you that
Please.
That this mystery, what? Allegedly.
According to sources. Go ahead.
Yeah, sources saying, word from the curb is saying down to the Jaya House in the ATL, which has a line to the Jaya House up in Boston, that this mystery mistress of Ime Udoka is a married, catch this tea, she's a married mother, Mormon, devoted mother of 3. She's 34 years old. She's the one that's married to the team exec, and she got this job through a friend of her family, and that's how she got to be the manager of team services. And this is the one that, word from the curb, allegedly says is pregnant by Udoka, and her name, say her name, because it's out there. Kathy Lynch, you have been put on blast once again. So if anyone within the sound of my voice did not know her name, if you don't know now, you know. Her name is Kathy Nemo Lynch.
But let me say this, Tanya B.
But
it's reported in Black Enterprise. Black Enterprise put that out there today. Again.
It's been out the air. But here's the gag. You know how Normans or Mormons, whoever they are, they don't believe in anything but reproducing babies. But the men also have multiple wives. So maybe her husband, who is part owner. I understand a lot of Mormons that's how they make a lot of their money. They invest in these professional teams. So that's how her husband got, I don't know if she was married to the man when she got the job, but she hooked up with him. But, they pop out babies like, we pop out chicklets.
That's a stretch. And, keep it going.
I know, right? So, they may have an arrangement, right? So it may not be the be all end all for, the Lynches and their family. But, Mandingo been busy. Okay, now let's go to celebrity breakups. If you haven't heard, our favorite sister, Tia Mowry, is divorcing her husband, actor Corey Hardrick, after 14 years. And it's really interesting because almost the entire time they were married, her star was on the rise. And he was all, that guy, he's an actor, what's he in? Did a lot of episodes. She even got him a part on an episode of The Game, but now he's on some, what is it, All-American Homecoming. He has a steady job now, and I understand that part of it was his ego just got out of control because he dare not cheat on her. But one thing I will say about Tia and Tamara Mowry, they do everything. They're twins. Yeah. One got married, the other got married. One had a baby boy, the other one had a baby boy. One had a girl. I mean, they do everything. So it's either, okay, how long before Tamara leaves her husband, Adam, the weatherman, or until they do something. I mean, they do everything together. But I can tell you one thing, Corey Hardrick, he like messed with the wrong girl because Hollywood loves Tia Mowry. So if he accidentally dies off of that show, don't be surprised.
Well, I'm going to say this and let's move on. I just hope
I am ready.
Whatever, because they have kids involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope it all works out.
Yeah.
I've always, when you see these kids or you see women grow up on television before you, you always wish the best for them. Just like we grew
absolutely.
up, or we saw, Kenan and Kel, we saw Kiki
Palmer, Roy, Raven Simone.
You want the kids you see grow up in front of you do well. So hopefully this all works out.
Well, you brought up Kenan Thompson. Here's the gag, and I wasn't here last week, but how interesting is it? Now, Chris Redd was on SNL. He and Kenan were best friends. Mm-hmm. And then Chris Redd played his brother on the 2 seasons that he had the sitcom Kenan. Mm-hmm. And now Kenan and his wife were estranged. The word from the curb is that Chris Redd done pushed up in the spot and is dating Kenan Thompson's estranged wife.
Yeah, that was kind of messy.
No, but here's what's messy, real messy about it. How interesting is it that, Kenan is he's the golden child, been there longer than anybody else. He's that black guy. How interesting is it that right after this whole thing came out, then Chris Redd announces he's leaving SNL.
Yeah. Well, I think if you
Kenan said they cool.
Yeah.
Kenan said they still cool.
Yeah, Kenan said they're cool and there's nothing.
What else he gonna say?
But one other thing, you're right. I agree with you, Tanya B. But I gotta say this: if I watched SNL last night, and the cast, with the exception of a few people, is pretty much unrecognizable.
Yeah, they're all
almost
new
like
people.
a complete reboot.
Yeah.
The only thing that's really consistent about SNL since day one has been Lauren Michaels. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And honestly, it's just not really as funny at all. It hasn't been funny for the last 3-4 years, but it's really kind of on the decline. I did, but I'm gonna say this before you get in.
Okay,
one more thing, and I'm gonna shut up. And I know you didn't like it, but Willow was impressive. I'm gonna leave it at that. I thought for what she's doing,
she was okay till she started screaming at me. Girl, I don't have a hearing problem. Little girl,
Tanya B. What I tell you,
go find your daddy Tupac. Go find your daddy Tupac.
We ain't the target. Go ahead.
Go find your daddy Tupac. Anyway, I wish her all the best. Her mother was in a band too back in the day, but they never really made it. Singer Miguel and his wife broke up again, and she filed for divorce like 33 times, maybe 35. Yeah. You're together for 17 years, but you can't barely stay married 17 months. There's a prenup with no kids. And I just want to say, when was Miguel's last hit record? Okay, moving on. I'm also hearing that there's already trouble in paradise down at the Ben and J-Lo Inn, and we'll just wait and see how that whole thing blows up. Exactly. And let's talk about the Will Smith redemption tour. Let's go into the Smith Chronicles. Now I'm hearing that Will Smith has started his redemption tour. The trailer, as we've all seen for his film Emancipation, is already out. It hits the big screen because now for you to be nominated, you got to be in a theater for at least a week. So December 2nd, Emancipation will be in the movie theaters, and no one's going to go see it because a week later you can watch it from the comfort of your home on Apple Plus.
Yep. And I will be watching that Apple Plus. Go ahead.
You and everybody else with their 30-day free subscription.
I'm paying, baby.
well, then you need to cancel and then get anyway.
I
got you.
Let me say they have the bundle, the Premiere One.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets thrown in with
every other things. Okay, and just want him. People really support him. Inquiring minds still want to know. It's interesting because this film can be nominated for an Oscar, as can he, but he just can't show up to, he can't come in the building. He can't come to the party. To the Academy Awards. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, husband of Layla Rashawn. And look, Will has been doing it. He actually went into DC and tried to get the blessing of the Congressional Black Caucus to be on his side. But I just say, even if you're in DC, you better have more than Charlie Mack as your security, because trust me, someone's going to try to run up on him and smack the beef stew out of him just because they think they can. And with that said, Jada Pink is talking about she's writing this tell-all book. Well, girl, you've been flapping your gums for so long. What is it that we don't know? And does anybody care? Not me. Is she really going to tell the truth about her entanglement with August Alsina and allegedly other females? Is she going to tell the truth about the whole Tupac debacle? And, you know, when you're in Scientology and you speak out against them, you can ask Katie Holmes. They're going to kick you out of church. So if she talks about Scientology, she and Will are going to be excommunicated from the Church of Scientology, like Katie Holmes.
What's her name? Leah Remy?
Leah Remini, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She definitely, she did the series.
Oh, yeah. She put him on blast. Yeah.
And y'all wonder why this man slapped Chris Rock.
But you know what? My
wife keep telling me off my business. I'm gonna slap somebody too.
That's between Will and Chris.
No, but it goes back. You know, he's been kind of ragging on Jada since the '90s, and it's interesting that did happen because Chris Rock was once a special guest in a couple of episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So anyway,
it ain't about Chris. I'm pissed at her since I can't hit her. I hit Chris.
Anyway,
well, you know what? Look, she might look. Jada from East Baltimore. She might have hit Will on the way there in the car. Okay. Anyway, so.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey! Somebody gave you the gummies this week.
I know he on fire. I'm taking next week off again.
Wait. But
if that book came out, y'all better keep Will locked up. Go slap somebody else.
If I got the gummies and the baked goods this week, but anyway.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay, I know his dog running around in circles. Yes. Okay. No, I said but hey, Tommy B, I'm gonna take next Sunday off so Vi can come back and be on fire again. But I love it. Well, let's.
I can't help myself. Go ahead.
Okay. One more thing I will tell you. You know, the rapper Coolio passed away, and he did not want a funeral. He was very quietly cremated. But this is why this happened, because his 12-year relationship with the stripper turned chef was an open relationship, and he had other kids and was with other women. But I guess she figured, maybe she was a Mormon. But the reason why I'm hearing that they did not want to have a funeral is because they did not want to have the DMX circus where you got. He's got, like, some people say 9 kids, some say 10, 11, 12. He's on halfway to Nick Cannon. Like Nick Cannon, they didn't want the baby mama showing up there asking for an accounting and having a handout for money, like the whole debacle with the DMX funeral, and that lady got told to go away.
Oh, they coming.
Oh, yeah, they are. But they just couldn't come up to the fume. Okay, they couldn't come to the fume because he didn't have one.
Yeah, so true.
But it's also cheaper to get cremated. Okay, now let's go to Dumb Donkey of the Week. His name is Kanye. Clearly, he's been off his meds this week. And, it just every day is like, okay, what else? It's almost like he says, what can I find to say that's crazier than the last thing I said? Like, there should be a movie made for me and I want Jamie Foxx to play me. I'm like, child, go sit down. Okay, but wait, let's talk about this. Now, Lauryn Hill was here performing in Atlanta last night at the One Music Fest, and I could just open my door and hear everything. I didn't have to pay. The VIP was $5,500. Okay.
What?
You heard what I said.
$5,500?
I said $5,500. Yeah.
For what?
Jeez.
2-day VIP to One Music Fest.
Oh.
Like I said, I can sit on my deck, open my door, and I don't have to pay. I don't need to. I know what they look like. I don't need to see them. But no, she had her kids up on stage last night with her, and she actually showed up.
For $5,500, I better be on stage.
Okay, I'm just saying, right. With my tambourine, I'm gonna be a backup dancer. I'm gonna be a dancer. Anyway, I'm singing backup. So anyway, y'all listen. So her daughter was rocking one of those Kanye's White Lives Matter t-shirts, and she has been getting dragged for filth, but she didn't have it on last night. But here's the thing: I want to know if y'all are ready.
Matter t-shirt.
Well, I'm gonna get to that. Wait a minute, y'all. I'm gonna get to that. Hold on. But let me ask you this: are you ready for what I'm hearing is going to be a collaboration between Drake and Taylor Swift? It's going to be a Kim and Kanye diss record.
No.
Okay. No. All right. Okay. Well, let's keep it moving because anybody care? Not me. So Kanye's a thirst trap. Yeah, he was on Tucker Carlson. It's like, whew, he needs some CBD, some THC, something. He said the reason why he has these White Lives Matter t-shirts because he said Black Lives Matter is a scam. And that's why. Okay. Okay, so he up there in the picture with Candace Owens. So we're gonna drag Kanye for filth, but what we need to do with Candace Owens is drag her down to the beauty salon and get them edges taken care of. Okay, and now the other thing is he says that this whole thing about I'm just saying. I'm sorry, go put on a hat. fat shaming Lizzo.
My edge is okay.
Yeah. See, and even if they weren't, you have enough wherewithal to cover them up. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. So Kanye is claiming that the fat shaming of Lizzo was black genocide, and now he's declared war on Puffy. Because Puffy just kind of calls him out and said, what I get what you're saying, but the way you're doing it, it's not the best way to do it. Even Justin Bieber said, I'm not friends with Kanye no more, but who cares about that either? And it's just really interesting. So now Kanye started posting publicly all of these texts between him and Diddy. I don't know what's funnier, Diddy and Kanye or Diddy and Mace. Now, this whole thing with him and Mace been going back and forth for years. Wait, and Puffy talking about Mace says Puffy owes him $3 million, and they all, you owe me money, owe me millions, owe me millions, owe me millions. Now I'm like, Mace, you made one record 30 years ago. I don't know what your worth is. You think you should be getting paid for, but here's the funny thing about it. Now here come Puffy talking about Mace is a fake preacher and a con artist, and he owes me $3 million, and the truth is going to come out. And then Mace went there and said, "Oh, says the man who's hiding money in his mama's name."
Yeah.
As if
it was bad. It's bad. It's bad, but you know what? These guys have years, together. So if anybody knows, I mean, just like Mace pointed out that the people who could talk, a lot of the folks who could talk are dead.
Right, Biggie, Black Rob.
I think nobody who worked for Puff Daddy got money.
But nobody, I mean, everybody who almost worked for Puffy is dead.
Right, the only person that got me. No, the only person that got any money, so to speak, was Faith Evans, because she had already been in the songwriting game, so she knew how to protect herself a little bit better than the others. But I mean, it'd be Biggie, Total, 112,
none of
all of them. Yeah. No.
What else you got, Tanya B? What else?
I just want to tell you. I don't know.
One. Let's go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying. All of y'all that have money, do not. If you're in Georgia, do not take that $350 that jackleg governor gave you and save that money to go down there to the Yeezy store they're trying to open in Atlanta. And lastly, I said after all these things, I said I don't care about. What do I care less about? Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen getting divorced, or the Love Boat coming back to TV as a reality show? I don't care.
Okay. All right, y'all. Appreciate you, Tanya B. That was some interesting, hot, steamy. I don't know what to call that to.
Some ratchet stuff. Ratchet.
That's
look, I don't make the news. I just report it. I don't make the news. I just report it.
That's some Shondaland tea. Yeah,
okay.
Here we go.
Call Kathy Lynch.
There you go.
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
All right, what we watching? Hey, I got to really shout out Carmen Alexis. She was she's a actress, voiceover here in the ATL. She actually voiced our Millennial Voices for us, and I was just so proud, man. I got to give it up for her, because she was on the episode of Atlanta this week. So if you saw the beginning of Atlanta this week, now Vi, let me make sure I make it clear. Atlanta is the show with Donald Glover, Vi, on FX. Okay, so if you heard last week's episode, you know why I'm saying that. But anyway, congrats to her. And I was gonna get her on the episode, but one thing she confirmed, and she's gonna be on in a couple episodes, but one thing she confirmed for me, y'all, if you saw the episode this week, because when I first saw them enter, I said, damn, that's the old Tyler Perry Studios off Greenbrier Parkway. So it's crazy, because I lived a mile away from there. Like, I owned a house a mile away from there. So when she pointed out the Kirkwood Chocolate was the guy, instead of TP, they called the owner was Kirkwood Chocolate. And the episode is called Work Ethic, by the way. But kudos to her, and love your thoughts on what y'all thought about the episode. I'm going to ask her some questions. One of the things I really want to ask her, though, is knowing that they were doing this parody on Tyler Perry, how people felt taping it in Atlanta at his old studio. Because that's like, damn, the balls, you know what I'm saying? On his old stomping ground, doing a not so nice parody. But it was well done, and congrats to her. That's big stuff for, I wouldn't say a newcomer, because she's been doing her thing a little while in terms of doing it with voiceover. But, congrats to Carmen for her acting. Great stuff. Also, real quick, just some quick recommendations, y'all. If you have not seen Reasonable Doubt on Hulu, you need to watch it. That sucker is, how can you say it? It's fire. It's more than I expected. It is one of the executive producers is actually Kerry Washington. If y'all remember or you know of Larry Wilmore, who's worked with Issa Rae, and the Scandal showrunner, the old showrunner from Scandal, who's now producing it and actually doing some direction as well, Ramla Mohammed. And this is for her Onyx collection. And I'm telling y'all, the character Jax is fierce. Check it out. Also, watch at your own risk, the reimagining of Hellraiser. Now, let me tell y'all, the first one I saw in the theater back in the day, I think it's 1987. That was some freaky, crazy S&M horror kind of stuff from Clive Barker. They kind of eased up on the S&M, but the whole thing with the skin and it's just, so watch that at your own risk. And we've got Spicy Dicey coming in next week. Dicey Griner, she's going to talk about her top 10 horror. But I don't know. I mean, I like the original more than I like this one, but this one wasn't bad. And it looks like they're going to have a sequel to it the way it ended. The other thing is, and I don't, it's not necessarily a recommendation, but you're going to see it in Netflix, Mr. Harrington's Phone. It's actually from a Stephen King novella. It's part of Ryan Murphy's contributions, his deal with Netflix. So it is Bloom, Stephen King, and Ryan Murphy involved in this. I expected more considering all the power behind this. It's long. It is a slow burn. Donald Sutherland is in it, with, Kiefer's dad back in the day. But still, it is, if you got a lot of time and you ain't sleepy, don't watch it like Tanya B at night before you try to stay up, because you're going to be, you're going to see that. Are you still awake?
Are you still alive? Are you still alive?
You know how Netflix pops up. Hey, are you still awake? Are you still there? So, I'm just saying. But next week, Spicy Dicey is back for another year. Damn, I forgot. It's almost like 4 years. She's come back with her top 10. So I'm looking forward to that. And shout out to KW. KW shot a note to her and said, hey, girl, you coming back? KW be on it. They have a horror festival out in Houston. And I saw some posts from Dicey. So definitely,
But you know what's interesting?
She'll be back next week. Episode 150. Go ahead.
I love to see just how year after year what she comes back with, because you always have those classic, they're real, those old school OG horror films. They don't quite make them like that anymore, as far as I'm concerned. But the thing is so if you see now, everything's coming back up. This month. This one, and they're bringing back even like Chucky and Elm Street and Mike Myers and all that stuff. Yeah, but you know what?
Damn,
just still know what
I watched Halloween Kills last night, and I've been saying this since high school, since the whole Halloween thing started.
Mm-hmm.
How in the hell y'all let this dude who moving like at half a mile per hour
catch you
with a knife?
Right, like
I'm like, what?
Even the black folks could outrun him. And they usually die in the first 5 minutes. But I just want to say this: shout out to the OG Jamie Lee Curtis. There has never I don't think will there ever be anything like her in the original Halloween. She did
but
that.
I'm just saying, she's going to be in Halloween Ends, which is going to be released as we tape next week.
There will be no end.
Released on Peacock. And I pray it's over, because I'm here to tell you, I would have, in the day of all these weapons, why didn't somebody just come out with a bazooka and walk up like an elephant gun or a bazooka and just boom? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense.
And kill him.
And I just watched Halloween Kills because I hadn't seen it, and I want to watch Halloween Ends, but I just sit there all episode. All I can do is think is, damn.
I wish it would end
with a bazooka.
Right, I wish it would end. Thank you.
Damn, but I hope they end it. I really do. I'm tired. Just like Friday the 13th, all that stuff. I'm just, come on, y'all. Come on. All right, y'all. Hey, again, go to castropolis.net. We'll love your thoughts on it. Go to the People poll. You can leave your voicemail, or you can just hit us up on, of course, stream, social media, email. But before, I told y'all I had a couple of thoughts on Ye. and chime in before we end the show. But I saw. Let me find out the name of this article. There is an article in Newsweek, and it's called "Kanye West is Right About Black Lives Matter." It's from Angie Speaks. She's a podcaster, and it's not a pro Kanye, or it doesn't seek to absolve Kanye, but it does make a point that I agree with. I mean, I do think that this whole Black Lives, White Lives Matter, the White Lives Matter is an offshoot of the problems of Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter wouldn't be doing all this shiggity, then we wouldn't have the situation that we're in.
If that girl
Yeah.
wasn't stealing all the money and
Right.
buying houses, and paying
Right.
her brother and people for no-show jobs, and then
She wasn't the only one, though.
No,
Yeah,
but
she
she's trying to
wasn't
be.
the only one.
No, she wasn't. I'm saying, but she's trying to be
It's a
defensive. She's
collective.
trying to right. She's looking for people to defend her. I'm like, no, no, no. Not only that, but again, that sets the tone. And so now, she got all that guilt money. She took it for her own personal uses, allegedly. But the
Yeah.
thing is, when we really have another issue,
Yeah, that's
all
my
the
point.
that's what they're going to look at is her and her scamming ass.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, the movement is legit. It's the people who run the organization is a sham.
Well, let me say this, and I'm going to say this, and you guys can jump in. Ye, and I've said this to you, Tanya B, several times when it comes down to doing stories on him. Kanye is a trap. He is a troll.
A thirst trap.
He wants people to respond,
Right.
because
A thirst
that's.
trap.
I mean, honestly, that's how he exists. So he's a past. And let me finish this, and then you can jump in. But he's a past his prime rapper, and this is how he remains relevant to sell his goods. If you look at it, he hasn't had a hit since 2007. When it comes now, I don't mean hit, but I mean a number one on his own since Stronger. He did produce Industry Baby, which went to number one with Lil Nas X, but he was a producer in 2021. He's using all he's got. He was using Kim for a while. He lost Kim. He's lost the kids. His skills, for the most part, have diminished. You can see that in terms of how he's coming out with albums and releasing new music. So what's left? And the only thing he has left right now is what he calls his superpower. And that's him calling himself bipolar. That's his superpower. So, the reason he calls it his superpower is because when he uses it, we're able to talk about him and focus on what we call the quote unquote crazy. And that's how he stays relevant. So, he's using White Lives Matter because Black Lives Matter fucked up. If they hadn't fucked up and failed, and basically, Vi, you say it was a good organization.
No, I didn't say that. I said
I'm not saying it was a good idea.
I said
it was
the
a
movement.
good concept. Yeah, the
Yeah,
movement.
the movement.
Yeah, you can't deny the movement.
Yeah,
But what
no, I
happens
said-
is,
yeah, I said-
you and I have said this, and we've said this over and over again. When you put yourself out as an organization intended, especially you've got lawsuits popping up from a lot of these mothers, where the likeness of their kid, the names of their kids have been used to generate money in a lot of these cities. A lot of these shooting victims, the ones who were killed by the police, and they haven't seen a dime. So when you see situations like this, again, it's another do-gooder organization trying to help the Black community, and they profited from Black pain. And that's the problem. So, when Kanye is using WLM, I'm not going to say it anymore. All he's doing, he's finding solidarity with Candace, whatever her name is.
Owens
Candace
and her edges.
Yeah, he's gonna find solidarity because Candace Owens has her own little documentary out there that's bashing Black Lives Matter, and also he's gonna find solidarity with Fox News and Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson has been saying this all along. So that's what he wants. It validates his claims. So in the long run, this hurts Black people, but not in the way that Puffy says it. Puffy's saying, well, what you're saying is hurting Black people. No, I mean, it's a combination. When these organizations go out and do this, and then you get this news that they're not using the funds right, it hurts all of us. That's what really hurts us the most. And honestly, the more we say he's crazy, the more it deflects from the fact that he's just a profiteer, bottom line. So he can sell the $200 and $400 shoes and all the stuff that really was made in Taiwan for $10. So my point is, and when it comes down to Black people, y'all know it. and call me up, hit me up if you want to. But y'all know, as soon as she comes out with Sunday service, you're gonna be right back in there crying, oh Kanye, oh Kanye. And ultimately, I heard what's his name, Stacey Dash, Dame Dash, was on a podcast, and he was talking about the fact that Kanye is like Vincent Van Gogh. He's a genius, but he's crazy. So what you're doing is watching a genius cut off his ear. Just because he's a genius, it doesn't justify the damage he's doing to the community. We can't be saying, because what it's saying is we're giving him the ability to go, hey, something's wrong with me.
License to be crazy.
No. Yes, and because you know what I'm saying. There have been other geniuses out there who have been destructive to the Black community, like R. Kelly. So
but what's leave it at that. What's interesting is that if you think back when Pete Davidson was dating Kim Kardashian West, and he came on Weekend Update on SNL, and he said, Kanye, just because you say you're mentally ill does not give you license to be an asshole.
Yeah. So every time we go out and say, well, that's Kanye, he's crazy, basically we're saying it's the insanity plea. And right.
It's like we're endorsing. Right. We're endorsing.
Yeah.
Bad
we're
behavior.
endorsing it. We're endorsing it. And my other thing is, I'm not going to pay $200 and $400. I'm not in the demo, but I know people who will. And honestly, and if the people who are concerned, if you're really concerned about Black Lives Matter, then you won't go out and support it. Support the $200 and $400.
Right. And what's bad about that? No, what's bad about that is, because Atlanta is a place right now where, the economy is just kind of jacked up when it comes to commercial space. So it's really cheap down here. Yeah. And like I said, he won't go to New York. He won't go to LA. He's running right down here to Atlanta, trying to open up a Yeezy store. And those same people that you're talking about, that can't afford it just so they can act like, so they can flex.
Yeah, but let me say this, Tanya B, and I'm a wrap, and I'm just going to throw it to you guys, and we'll get out of it for this week. But, if you look at it, if this were Tommy Hilfiger, okay, if you know what I'm saying, if this were back in the day, what were the shoes that they said were made? British Knights. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would be jumping up and down. Hey, don't buy British Knights. Don't buy Tommy Hilfiger. So the problem with this is honestly Black consumers making poor choices is hurting Black people.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and they will go down to that. They will stand in line, like they won't stand in line to vote, but they'll go stand in line at the Yeezy store and sleep outside like they did for video games back in the day, and they will pay $400 for a pair of shoes that were made in Taiwan by a 10-year-old that cost him all of $5. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm just gonna say, and I'll throw it to you, Vi. I just have to say, Black consumers are basically making bad choices on what they consume, keeping these people alive. So if that's what you want to do, have at it. I don't tell people what to do. I'm not going to, call for boycotts and say all that. It's your choice. Think about the things that he's saying, think about the things that he's doing, and make a choice in terms of how you spend your money. That's all I say. And throw it to you, Vi, and then we'll wrap this.
When I say cancel country, I'm not talking about boycott him. I'm just saying, don't support him. Don't buy his merchandise.
Ignore him.
Ignore him. Long as we keep buying that stuff, he's going to think it's okay for him to say what he wants to say. If we don't buy, his bank account start doing it, he'll start saying, okay, maybe I need to change my tune. Because one thing, like Dicey said, Tanya, he's going too far. Yeah, the Black Lives Matter organization is a sham, but the movement is not. The worst thing you could have said is White Lives Matter. You could have said anything but that.
Yeah. Well, all I gotta say, and let's wrap it. Let's wrap it and we'll close it. But if you guys have any comments, go to castropolis.net. Leave us a voicemail. But I gotta say, Black consumers making poor choices are hurting Black people. Just know what you consume and understand what you're consuming and who you're supporting. I'll leave it at that. But also go to castropolis.net. Our gears there if you're looking to try to support this podcast. And also, I do want to say a big thanks to, and this shocked me, Vi, and Tanya B. Vi was on last week. We were talking about the Kendall Vela next, the story, the horror and thriller story, and it's free. I'm not charging for it. It's available on the website. But I am shocked, man. I got to really just applaud the number of people who downloaded and read it. Like, damn, y'all reading? but thank you, man. I really, bottom of my heart, appreciate it. The second story comes out on the 16th and the third story on the 30th. And it's free. All you got to do is, make sure you can read it on the Kindle app. The other thing is definitely, I'll put all the stuff we talked about today in the podcast notes. Final thoughts, Tanya B. Final thoughts.
I just want to say this. I'm not into video games and things like that, and I don't know much about that Call of Duty situation, except the fact that that's it. But what I am going up for, and you can check it out, there is a commercial. It's Lil Baby, Nicki Minaj, Pete Davidson,
Yes.
and the country singer Kane Brown. I'm like, I am in now. I think I might actually pay Call of Duty some attention. That's all I got to say.
It looks hot. I saw it today.
Yeah. Yes. Hallelujah.
You got any last minute thoughts, Fire?
Like I said, I'm about this Kanye thing. I'm the black people. We can support Kanye without him being stupid.
Yeah.
We ain't got to call him stupid. We ain't got to call him crazy. We just got to stop legitimizing what he's saying. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Not just Kanye, any black person.
Yeah.
So
we got to think about what
I
you're
always
buying.
say, why are we the only people that hurt ourselves?
Yeah, I agree.
So stop hurting your own people. Look out for them. Black people, take care of yourself.
Yeah, so true.
Please do right with the money.
Hey, I almost forgot, and then we'll go to the benediction. Happy birthday to our boy Eddie Bell.
Eddie B.
Bell. My man, Eddie B. Hey, Tanya B. real quick. Eddie Bell taught me how the country DJs, but he was doing small market DJing in the clubs, and Eddie Bell, man, was just he's a totally different man now. He's all up in the church, but back in the day, man, Eddie Bell used to talk so much trash. This dude was just incredible, man, and he really, I learned a lot from him. He's a couple of years older and graduated before I did, but shout out to him. Happy birthday, Eddie Bell. Next weekend is Troy's homecoming, by the way. So all my folks, Troy University, used to be Troy State back in the day.
Are you going?
Yeah, nah, I got stuff here. It's in the. Normally they do it They used to do it at the end of the month, like the first part of November. I'm kind of surprised they're doing it this early this year.
Yeah, bad timing.
Yeah, yeah. So for all the folks who are going, let them, hit me up, shout me out. I appreciate a lot of the folks who listen to the podcast and support the podcast are, former classmates. So I appreciate you. Also, real quick, thank you, Officer Wyatt. Just some really timely tips because it's getting dark. A lot of y'all are coming home at night on your own. And just some great tips. Again, thanks to Ron Wyatt, Officer Ron Wyatt, College Park. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I have one more thing to say.
Go ahead.
I just want to say shout out to Dr. Bernie Hayes and Marsha Washington George and Julian Davis, everybody at the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. My dad, I wasn't here last week. He got inducted, 65-year career in radio. And there was I met a lot of great people. I actually met someone that my dad mentored. One of the first females on the air in North Carolina, a lady named Hattie Leeper. She went on to teach at college in North Carolina. She's written a book, and it was just really good. And I saw some new folks and met some other folks. And, I just want to, shout out to, all the broadcast professionals that do what they do. People think you just come in here, sit down and crack the mic and that's it. But there's a lot of preparation that you have to do for this. We make it sound easy. We inform the community, keep people informed about what's going on and educated. And it's really sad that many Black communities right now don't even have a Black radio station. So again, thank you all for letting me have the day off. And thank you to everybody in St. Louis and at the National Black Radio Hall of Fame and everybody at the Spitfire Barbecue Grill, because it was on and popping.
Excellent. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do this benediction. Here we go, Vaughn.
All right. Hit it.
Do you ever feel that your life is too complex for God to understand? Remember, God created the entire universe, and nothing is too difficult for him. God created you. He is alive today, and his love is bigger than any problem you may face. John chapter 1, verse 3 through 5. Through him, all things was made. Without him, nothing was made. That had been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. In other words, people, no matter what you're going through, what you've been through or what you got coming. It's not too big for God. Just remember, he got you. He understands. And ain't nothing you done or will do that he can't help. Amen. Amen.
Good stuff. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And again, y'all go to castropolis.net. Everything we talked about is definitely there. You can find the episode. You can see Tanya B's Birdwire stuff is there. Also, don't forget the Kindle Vella. The current episode next is there. It's free. The merch store is there. And just appreciate your support. You can leave comments on the show. Again, with that, y'all, episode 149 is in the can. We are out of here, and Vi is still bouncing from them gummies. I thought the gummies slowed you down, but
They make him, no, not him.
But anyway, 149 is in the can, y'all, and we are out of here. Peace and power to the people. Have a great week.
Peace, people. Peace.
Hallelujah.
Peace.